you.
Yeah.
We're there all the time.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called Sepe
Venetia's-
Grove, Sepay. Sepe Groves.
Okay.
In Venetia.
Thank you
First
for
store.
that.
Downtown.
Yeah, we've been meaning to do a little bit more exploring. We haven't spent a lot of time in Venetia because
I haven't spent any time. We know a lot.
we went to a wedding. We went to
There's
No.
Tracy's wedding there. We drive through it all the time.
There's Macaulay's also. Macaulay's
Yeah.
Olive Grove.
Yes,
But
I'm
they don't
familiar.
talk too much about the polyphenols.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sepe Groves, it's what they do.
yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
not their. They're more like they're business people.
Yes, yeah. And
They're
their
not
grove
pushing
is right
the-
down the road from their stores.
Right.
That's
But
cool.
Sepe Grove talks a lot about it. And they have like here's the medical information.
That's very cool. Thank you for the tip.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're always on the lookout.
Are we recording?
Yeah, it's recording now.
Oh.
No, we record on the good part. I don't know why it did automatically. I think voice command, but yeah, you guys was talking about Sepe Grove. So.
Oh,
Awesome.
plug.
Yeah.
We're in. Plug a small business.
Right.
Nice.
All right. Again, just for the thumbnail too, we could, hold up our wine glasses.
Salud.
Cheers. All right. So, all right. So the relationship questions. This one is going to be more like free flowing. Just have like a natural
yeah, we didn't study for
conversation.
this one.
Yeah. So because if Miss MC have something in mind that she might want to ask, feel free to ask any questions.
It's like a double date.
Yeah. Right. So for us, I guess we had some experience as far as small business or so, because we used to own a duplex until 2020, and we had to go through a lot dealing with tenants, going through the zoning process, learning that things that what you could do in a single family home, you can't really do that when you have multi units. And
We went through remodeling,
yeah.
both units.
Mm-hmm.
That was permit getting and
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, the P
solar
word.
panels.
Yeah, the P word's just a bad word. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I forgot to even ask about the permits as well too, because
they do.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Can I just plug Tara's interview because
exactly.
she really got into the permit process, and I co-sign everything she had to say about that.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Okay, so if you guys don't mind, again, I know you said you guys, the first time you guys met was in an Italian restaurant, and was it in Italy or was it
San Francisco.
San Francisco? Okay, so how was the interaction like?
Inappropriate? No, we just like to be subversive. It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
It was not inappropriate.
No, it wasn't. He was very polite. You were technically my superior.
For a little bit, yeah. I had been working at that restaurant for several years by the time
Okay.
she started as assistant to the chef, actually. She wasn't
Okay.
an official employee of the restaurant at first when we first met and started to chat and get to know each other.
That was just the intern.
Yeah, she was just an intern essentially. But then we hired her as a host to run the front door of the restaurant, and then we started to spend time during the days together while I was doing daytime management, and she was there to be the host, and so she was returning phone calls and checking voicemails and doing stuff like that. And so we got a chance to work together and interact and flirt and start a relationship and
coworker stuff.
We did not have our first date until after I put my notice in.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, our first date was the day before her last day working at the restaurant.
The
So
day
it
before,
was it was all really close to above board.
So when you have pretty much put your your notice to leave, did that at that moment did it kind of spark oh my gosh, she's gonna go?
Oh no,
So-
man! I had been pushing on that for so long.
my
I was trying so
Oh.
hard for months to get her to come over for a date or do anything, and it took moving. I lived in San Francisco, but I moved to Berkeley.
Yeah.
And so when I
And
moved to
lived in the
Berkeley,
East Bay, too.
she lived in Alameda, and I moved
Okay.
into an apartment all by myself, and I had a pretty nice little kitchen, and she
Yeah.
was in culinary school
Oh, okay.
to become a chef. And so I said, hey, I just moved. I'm close to you now.
Yeah.
You should come over and cook in my kitchen.
That's not cold.
How could
for
she
anything.
refuse?
That's really what happened.
And I had my own homebrewed beer, so I was like, come over, you make me dinner, and I'll serve you my homemade beer.
But
And that
I
was
will
our
say,
first date.
Okay.
it wasn't just like a little workplace flirtation. At least for me, I had a lot of respect for him because he
Yeah.
was my superior in the restaurant, and I couldn't be with somebody if I don't respect their work ethic. And that was the first thing about him that stood out to me, is that
Okay.
he was always the hardest working person in that restaurant, and he always had good reasons for why he was doing the things he was doing, and I
Mhm.
admired that so much that I was like, okay, this is somebody I could learn from,
Mhm.
and I just enjoy being around him because I trust that he's a stand up person, and yeah, just somebody I could admire, not just some cute guy, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And, you know, and this is what I usually hear like a lot, like when we have our relationship podcast, because they always say that women want a man that they could look up to, that they could respect. You know, I think that admiration comes in because of the respect for the man, but it's also because like some type of work ethic or some type of personality trait that stands out. Of course, everything is subjective, but
Right.
still,
But we do tend to be a little more cerebral about the
We
attraction.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
Yeah.
that's true.
What
I
about-
think for me, the attraction with him was just that he's a good listener and he has good like solution based conversations. It's
I
not just
appreciate
like
that.
off the cuff, and it's really solution based, and he listens like I mean, his podcast, Knowledge and Relationships. It's
Sometimes
Right?
I don't
That's
even
a
know how because I
rare
have
skill.
ADHD. So,
Yes, yeah, and it's real. Like people come to him because he's genuine, and they can attach to the genuineness in him. Whenever there's like issues, he's like, you know what? Here's them out. He'll let them speak, and then here's what I see of that. Here's what I think of that. How
That's
about
really-
you? What
that's
do
really
you
beautiful.
see? He invites
Thanks.
them back. Like, what do you see? Like, what do you have in your mind about that? Like, that's what I love.
Wow, that was beautiful.
I see you blushing over here.
Yeah. I mean, I could say for the most 100% part, like it's true. But what attracted me to like Mrs. M3 was that she had like a pure heart when it comes down to like family, when it comes down to people like around like in her social circle. Like she wasn't like fake. And a lot of times you run into people, yeah, you could have a good spirit, have a conversation, but now these days, like it's really hard to really build.
And to feel like you're actually making a connection.
Yeah. We served like at the church. We did like a lot of acting, like performances, music as well too. So that's how we kind of like naturally like bond and click. And with that bond, it's like, okay, that's what kind of like brought us in like together because we had like a purpose. Like just, I mean, I know we're not here to try and make people happy, but sometimes there's a lot of people that is miserable, they're depressed. And, and I, even without like Kashim, Mr. M3, like I try to make sure that like, okay, if I could put a smile on someone else's face, I'm good. I don't care about the rest of the day or whatever. I just want to see people happy. Maybe I need to talk to a therapist about that. Why? But
Maybe you are the therapist.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems like
I guess so. But I don't know. I like seeing happy people, but more in a real type of way.
Mhm.
Don't fake to be happy, but whatever that's going on, like just talk about it. Because I know what it was like to be like in a dark place
Mhm.
and not really have the liberation to properly articulate my thoughts and emotions or have like a safe haven of maybe a group of men or maybe with some women to like talk to about the things that that I was going through. And so because of that feeling and knowing that pain that's inside, I never want to see anybody else like go through that.
yeah, And also, it's kind of tough, like a lot of the time, for men to be able to articulate their emotions because they're always told, tough it up.
Yes.
You're a man,
So they're
be
both-
strong.
Yeah, it's very
Instead of
restricting.
just, they're human, they have feelings. Let them speak. Their heart, their minds. You learn more when you
Yes.
let them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think being in business together, it adds
Yeah.
another dimension to your relationship. And
Mhm.
so I think you need to be able to make even more space for each other's humanity.
Yeah.
Because when you're business partners, you need to be a certain way as business partners. Like
Mhm.
there are things that you need from each other and they're very, very concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as a business partner, this is your job, this is my job. We both need to bring it and we both need to meet each other at that level. But you can't forget about the human side of each other. So when you're not wearing your business partner hats, you need to make more space for each other to be even more human and more flawed and more vulnerable in a way.
And the individuality. I think a lot of the time when you're in a when you're on the outside of a relationship looking in, you can see the two people as just they're always one, always together, always hanging out. However, we're individuals, right? So giving each other the space and time to remember ourselves. Like the things that these are the things I like to do with you. These are the things I like to do on my own or with my friends.
Oh, you just brought a tear to my eye. 'Cause that's literally a conversation we had today about some of the things that I need and trying to honor him, give him the space to like not be running the business solo and taking care of our kids solo all the time. But there are things that I need to do too that will help me to bring myself back.
We're still individuals. Even
Yeah.
we're married, we're together, we're individuals. And I think there's a freedom that comes with that, like your schedule. Maybe there's 1 or 2 days out of the week that you're just yourself over here and I'm just myself right here. And we come together and we love each other and everything is still, good. But then I remember his individuality is the reason I like him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because he does everything that I want,
Right.
And he listen, or I
that's hard
do
to
everything
remember
that he
sometimes,
wants.
though.
This individual, I like this guy.
So
There's
you
a
need
reason.
to let him be him.
You have to let each other be each other. Who are you before you were married? When you lose that, I'm not talking like wild and crazy. I'm just talking about the things that on the inside helped you. Your 8 dimensions of wellness helped you be sane, helped you enjoy being you inside your skin. Sometimes relationship with couples, we forget that there's that.
Do you offer therapy?
No.
Because I'm ready to pay her.
We are not licensed therapists, though. But if you want some advice and you want to donate, you could hit us up on our IGs. Like Oakland_artist 84. So I'm just saying. It sounds like you was about to say something.
No, I really agree with what you just said about it's so easy to get lost as in the coupleness, like being we're a couple, and so therefore like everything in the world is the couple, as opposed to like no, we're a partnership, and partnerships are made up of individuals, or and you come together, and so we come together and do great things together, like operate this business and have dreams about restaurants and have a family and raise our daughter, but at the same time we are really at times super different, and so you have to embrace that, and so I just totally agree with you.
Yeah. That inner self, that inner you, like there's something about that connection, like helps you to be sane in this world that can take you so far out of yourself and everyone's problems that you forget your individuality. You forget, and you just want so bad to help everything and everybody, and you forget, man, am I well? Am I okay?
Especially as parents, it can be easy to lose sight of that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that, because that's a whole other conversation. But,
so like, I guess like, like how do you pretty much like switch from, okay, the business couple to, I guess, is this the right term for me to call it? I guess like normal couple or regular couple or
The romantic
normal.
side.
what can I call
it?
I think at this point in the business, to be honest, we have a hard time getting out of business couple world because we're putting a lot into it, and it's still so new and early on that there's every day there's something to talk about. But we're passionate about this project and what we're doing, and so we get excited about
our
it.
relationship.
Yeah,
too.
I had to learn though early on in this project process that at a certain point in the evening, I have to not bring up anything about the business, otherwise she doesn't sleep. Because it just spins her mind up, and then the next thing you know, the next day she's already sitting up in bed like writing notes because she didn't sleep all night. Yeah.
And then I'm not happy.
Yeah, so I did learn that early on, but
we do have little rituals though, so we don't completely ever turn it off, but we find moments in the day. So even when we're here in the shop, if it's quiet in the middle of the day, we'll sit and have lunch together.
Nice.
And you know, we're here, so technically we're working, so we don't feel like we actively need to be talking business. It's like, let's just take a moment and just have lunch together. Yeah. And if it's, you know, the end of the evening, he knows to stop talking, and if we pour a glass of wine, that's like a little ritual. We'll sit and we'll have a glass of wine. And this is part of, thank you for joining us in our ritual.
I feel like that small little table with the two chairs
is very intimate.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's wind down. Like, no pun intended, you know.
No,
but
wind down. That's good.
Yeah, this table, when we first opened the shop, that table was back there as a merchandising table. And then we got a new merchandiser, so we didn't know what to do with the table. So we put it here, but it didn't have chairs, and we just used it for photos, like product pictures. And then we pulled two chairs out one day, and the next thing you know, like we spend most of our day just sitting across from each other at this table. You know, when there aren't customers in here, and sometimes we're talking about business, and sometimes we're talking about what we're doing with our daughter next weekend or whatever.
Chopping it up about life. Yeah, good. I remember conversations, and it's okay to have those conversations where you're like, you know what? He would tell me, babe, can we talk about something else than work? Can we please? I'm glad that your kids in class are doing well. I'm so happy for that. Can we talk about something else now?
Yeah, and you have
it's okay.
You have to be okay hearing "shut up" because that's really what's happening between the lines.
Yeah,
you have to be okay hearing that and just rolling with it.
Yeah,
but you know, I mean, I think that was like the beginning, but it's like now it's like I don't really mind like having these type of conversations because I mean, okay, so both of us like we work at. We're not gonna say like the name of like our workplace, school, but but the same like district. And so, I mean, she does the teaching. You know, she's teaching the students. I'm transporting, and now I'm also leading co-leading other drivers, right, to pretty much start off with their pre-trips, learn about the bus and the mechanics. So that part, we're all by the end of the day. Our mission is to pretty much like put the children first and serve them. Even though we don't have kids like of our own, except for 9 parakeets. One of them I had to put in a timeout cage, but
and then she kicked the
she had
seed.
A fit. But when I got back, I was gonna let her out and
she had a little tantrum. She kicked all the food, most of the food out of her cage for
imagine
having
a
to be by
small
herself.
parakeet using her feet, just kicking the food out. And
pay $1 to watch.
I was like, okay, you're not ready to come back in the cage because you're in the fighting type of mode. So I was like, oh boy, I gotta deal with this tomorrow, right? But no, it's fun. Like I enjoy like what we do. I enjoy like our life. I mean, even though we're not small business owners like anymore, as far as like owning property, but I mean, again, who's to say that we won't be able to like go back? It would take some time, but
we dream big, and that's important too in relationships. Is to keep dreaming.
Don't ever stop dreaming.
Yeah.
Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop. You've done this, okay? Now the hard is easy. There's something else that's going to be difficult, but do hard better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to write that.
And that's the part that I find inspiration from
I
you
borrowed
guys.
it. I borrowed it.
Okay.
It's not mine.
I'll
I
take
borrowed
it.
I get
From
it.
Women's
Pass it
MBA.
along.
Whatever, right? It sounded good.
Do her better.
But that's where like I find inspiration in you guys because like you guys are doing it, you guys are living the dream and you're making it happen. And so I think the thing is like a good lesson for what other couples could take note of is that you don't have to like spend your whole entire life working for someone. You could actually build something together and actually like make a difference.
Yep.
Build an establishment. I mean, yeah, of course, like, you know, you want to make a living because this is like, you know, like your dream job. You know, you don't want to consider this as a hobby, but at the same time, this is like a passion that you love to do.
Yeah.
So if it's like, if you have something that can help sustain to that passion, man.
Do
You
your
guys-
passion and call it work.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it any better. I mean, that's the journey that we've been on since I think we both came to that individually, and that's how we met each other.
Yeah.
And so we've already met each other on that road.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's just keep walking on that road together and see where it leads us. And it is scary.
Oh yeah.
But you can't be afraid to do hard things. Right.
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 That's right.
Ah, that's good advice. What other advice do you guys have, like maybe for like couples that just, you know, maybe like newlywed couples and
Business, parents, couple,
yeah,
the trifecta.
Right. Look at us. It's not easy. Don't expect it to be easy.
Okay.
Nobody promised easy. You're not owed easy.
okay,
It's all hard, but worth it.
yeah,
For me, I'll let you talk. But for me, I think one of the biggest lessons of the last few years was just learning to disagree constructively and to have hard conversations. Because you're not always going to agree. You cannot always agree. What's the point of always agreeing? And then you're just sitting there talking to yourself. You're different people, right?
mm-hmm.
But you have to be okay with hearing hard things, hearing criticism, and even if it's not worded in the nicest way, you have to just learn to take it in and see what's behind it and find the truth in it.
Yeah.
And then I hate to stereotype, but for us women, being able to give criticism, to say the hard things, like you're not showing up for me in the way I need you to, you're not giving me what I need right now. Or sometimes, you know, you're being kind of an asshole. Right? Can I say that on your show?
Yes.
Okay. You're being kind of a jerk right now. It's hard to say that sometimes, and to articulate to yourself what you need that's not being met. Because sometimes we're just sitting there being mad and grumpy, and like, why am I being mad and grumpy? And it's because, okay, I'm not getting what I need from him. What is it that I need from him? How can I say this in a way that will help me to get what I need from him? And that's been the hardest but most rewarding part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, how do I follow that?
I know, how do you follow that? I mean, for me, it was learning how to take that and not take it personally. Like she's not telling me that I'm a bad person or that she's over it and like just go ahead and pack it up and
Correct.
get out of here.
Right.
But rather that, you know, she just like hearing that and understanding what it really means and what she's really saying. Also, something that I've had to learn how to do is to take a breath, to take a beat, because I have always been, and I was raised this way to like react in the moment and react fiery. I mean, that's why I don't have any hair left. And so a lot of times when something occurs that's you know got some weight behind it, my instinct is to react immediately in response, and I've had to learn, and strongly, and I've had to learn to like just take a moment and take a breath and let it sink in and kind of try to wrap my head around exactly what it is that we're talking about or fighting about, for that matter, because sometimes it's not what you think it is, you know, like, it seems like we're fighting about, you know, this one single thing. You had to bring that up.
Very specific.
That's a great example, though, because it wasn't really about that, you know. And when you cut down to it, you have to take a minute, though, and take a breath. And she's way better at that. And so, and that's another thing for me personally, is that I've had to remind myself to learn from her, because she brings a completely different perspective to relationships, to life, to just about everything than I do, which leads us back to what we talked about earlier, which is that we're two very individual people. We're not just the couple that is Doctorbird Market, but rather Zane and Danielle, two very different people. And so I try to learn from her and try to not necessarily be more like her, but simply just learn and understand her better so that we can communicate better. And that's the ultimate thing, though, is just to talk, to really say what you mean and what you feel when you mean it and when you feel it. And then maybe take a beat after that and take some time to let it process and to mull it over and then come back and resolve. But I also, I had to get over that too.
Would say let it marinate.
Yeah, let it marinate, right.
Well, they're not saying that anymore?
No.
Oh, no. I'm a dinosaur.
Sorry.
But if I will add one more thing to that in terms of learning from each other and just learning about each other.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we have different ways of dealing with things. And sometimes I don't agree with his way of dealing with things, but that's his way and I have to just let it be without judgment.
Yeah.
It's not my way. I would prefer sometimes that it were otherwise.
Yeah.
But I just have to just see what it is. Like, okay, this is what he's dealing with. That's how he deals with it, and let go of the judgment. Like, well, that's stupid, or why is he being so grumpy? Like, okay, that's how he processes it, and that's a recent development for me.
Yeah. I think even just going back to the 8 dimensions of wellness, when we consider that there's intellectual wellness, there's mental health, that's wellness, physical wellness, everyone knows about physical wellness, fitness and all that good stuff. Mario, Mr. M3, far more emotionally in tune with life, and my emotional wellness, I had to grow so much. I think we were probably 8 years old, married couple, before I even cried on his shoulder.
Wow. How long have you guys been married?
May will be 11 years.
Yeah, May 18th.
Oh, that's cool. One of our anniversaries is in May too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Congrats.
Yeah.
It's a bunch. But anyway.
I mean, I have a saying, and I didn't make it up, that if you are the most intelligent person in the room, find yourself to another room.
Yes.
We're all teachers of our craft, but there's always someone that knows more than us in other areas, and they're more mature than us in certain aspects of wellness. And spending time in that room, in that circle, you'll develop all of the characteristics of wellness, not just intellect. Because intellect is just one thing. Get you in the door, you can help somebody, but there's so far you can go if you're doing everything your way and you're not thinking about or considering that the decisions you're making is affecting someone emotionally, and they're going to speak up about it soon, Like, there's things about our character and ourselves that's not just one dimension or one facet.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love that.
powerful.
Yeah, that was, I know, that moved me. I had to take a minute.
Yeah. Man, well, I don't want to hold up too much of your time, but I will ask just one last question. And this is for you, Zane, right? Okay, at what point, right, that you was like, you know what? We're in a dating relationship, but now I know officially this woman is the one. I'm about to put a ring on her finger. Like the Beyonce song. What is it? Put a ring. I just know put a ring on it, right? If you like it, something, put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm waiting for this answer.
Well, the most important thing to say right off the bat is that we didn't date for very long. In fact, it was really, really short.
okay.
But we were officially dating. I mean, obviously, we knew each other for a good long time.
Yeah.
We were colleagues, and then
Courting.
and we courted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but once we finally had that official first date, it wasn't very long until we were engaged to be married. But I got to be honest, obviously, I was struck by her when I first met her the very first time. But as soon as we started to spend time making food and just doing the things that we both love, which is just living life ultimately.
But it was a domestic situation. We were like cooking and gardening.
Right off the bat we were doing all those things. But it was just her passion for knowledge and also her empathy for others. Like I just saw that stuff right away. And so it didn't take me very long to know it. In fact, the day she moved into my apartment was the day I proposed to her. Was that immediately. And then we had friends come over for dinner, and she was like blushing and didn't know what to do.
Couldn't eat my dinner.
Yeah.
Couldn't touch my food. I was like, what just happened? So time frame?
Yeah, it was a very short time frame. That was
6 months. Okay.
Yeah. If that. No, it was a little more than 6 months.
Okay. Well,
That's
9
really
months. Okay.
But yeah, you just know, like I just knew. And like we've been talking about entrepreneurship and like being on this path together. She started out as a engineering student at Penn and got her bachelor's degree in engineering, and then worked for Verizon in Philadelphia for
Had a whole other life.
a whole other life. And then but knew deep down that wasn't the right thing. It wasn't what she was meant to do. And so one day she took a severance from Verizon and moved across the entire country to start culinary school in San Francisco. And
where I'd never been before.
just because she knew that was a better path than the one she was on. And so that right there is very attractive for someone to say, you know what? No, I'm not, the path I'm on isn't the right path. And to have the bravery to abandon that path, because most people can't do that.
They would stay stuck.
They do what you were talking about earlier. They go to school, they get the degree, they get the job, and they start working for the other person, and that's the rest of their life. And she was passionate and brave enough to do that. And it was pretty, and that's very attractive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Super duper attractive.
He said super duper attractive.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's getting rosy red a little bit.
It's the one.
But we're on that same path together.
Yeah.
We're on that same path together. I have 2 degrees in music,
Yeah.
but I don't
this is not that.
really do music for a living, hardly at all.
Yeah. No, and the thing is that like, people will feel like because I got something, now I'm locked into it.
Right.
You can always go back if you want to. But the thing is, the fact that it's like you chose to do something that you discovered that this was going to be the key to like your happiness, the key that you really want to do, and to like build an establishment, and you went for it. Hey, salutes to you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Well, Zane, I appreciate you so much. Danielle, I appreciate you as well too.
Thank you, and both of you. I just,
nice to
I
meet
appreciate you for.
Oh.
Don't. Right.
But I appreciate you for for doing this, and I mean for your channel and for sharing about relationships.
Absolutely.
But also for shining a light on some of the small businesses here in Old Town Pittsburgh. That's definitely helpful, and thank you just for connecting, because that's a gift too, just to have that have such a good human interaction.
Absolutely,
I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that too. If you guys don't mind, feel free to shout out like your business.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's what we're doing, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And your
Tell-
IG and your
What business? So
thank you.
We are
no more.
Doctorbird Market. We are a specialty food and wine market here in Old Town Pittsburgh, California. Pittsburgh without the H.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 90 East 4th Street. So we're just off of Railroad. We're kind of down a side street. So we're doing what we can to get a little bit more visibility on this block. It's a short side block, but we're within shooting distance of the California Theater and New Mecca Cafe and La Veranda. We're walking distance from Dale Vino and the Marina. So we're right here in the heart of Old Town, and we're really focusing on some high quality ingredients, some high quality wine, some good snacks. We didn't even shout out the snacks, but
Shout out to the snacks.
just all the things that we need to live deliciously and and have people feel good while they're doing it, while they're in here. You know, you can get all the nicest things without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I try to post a lot of informational videos on our Instagram, which is Doctorbird Market, and that's all spelled out. Doctorbird is spelled. It's not Dr. Bird, but rather Doctorbird, all one word. Market.
Yeah.
Doctorbird Market is our Instagram. It's our Facebook. It's our TikTok, and I've been putting videos up every single day, either talking about wine or talking about beer, just to share the knowledge and the love that we have for the things that we're selling in this little shop of ours.
And we're nice people, so come hang out.
They're
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Come meet them in person.
And I followed them as well too already. So
yeah, and we do tastings every other week. So
oh yeah,
I appreciate the
yellow.
coordination.
If
You're almost blended into the walls.
Yes.
almost. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you both.
Yes.
Cheers,
So
guys.
welcome.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
Me too.
All right. I guess you want to kiss too, huh?
Of course.
Everybody else is doing it.
Right.
Awesome. That was great fun.
Thank you guys.
This was really enjoyable.
Alrighty. We're doing wine tasting today. It's a fall Thanksgiving-inspired wine tasting. Chef Danielle has some tasty bites that she's preparing back in the back room there, warming it up for you. A little veggie hash.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a chef, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so, you know, we have to do it up. So we're starting with some bubbly. What are you doing on such a beautiful day?
Well, the question is, why aren't you here to taste wine with us? But you got all day. We're starting now. I'm popping open this bottle of sparkling Nebbiolo, which is a wacky wine,
I
but
love pink bubbles.
super exciting. Pink bubbles, yeah. Opening this up now. We've got a white wine from Le Marche, which is on the east coast of Italy, made from a grape called Passerina, which means little bird. We also have some Cerasuolo Vittoria, which is a Sicilian red blend. And then we've got a local-ish Monterey County, Central Coast red wine made from Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre.
Can I just compliment you on that professional open that you just did?
Thank you.
It's like you've done this before.
A few times in my career. A little bit of sparkling Nebbiolo Rosé, very, very light pink,
Pretty.
super light. But we're looking forward to seeing you down here at Doctorbird Market, 90 East 4th Street, for a little tasting of some wines and some nibbles of some bites.
Don't miss out. I want to drink this all day.
And we're going to.